Hello, Fight Insight fans, viewers, and listeners. I'm the Filipino podcasting machine, Princey D, and with me, as always, the man formerly known as Timbo Slice Timmy B. Before we start, please take a moment to follow and like and subscribe to us on YouTube or wherever you get your pods. If you'd like to support the show, check out middaysquares.com and use the code FIGHTINSIGHT15 to save 15% on your first order. On today's episode, we speak to a flyweight fighter ready to put out the world on notice as she fights for Combate Global. Discuss the fallout of Oh my gosh!
Ngannou.
Ngannou. Oh my gosh! Discuss the fallout of Ngannou's win and a whole lot more. Tim, hit it.
Yeah, it's Timmy B, Princey D, Fight Insight.
Literally, our guest was just saying that this was a professional podcast, and then you did that. Okay, guys. So normally I do like a nice introduction of our guest, but I'm going to do it a little bit differently. As some of you may know, we are on Filipino TV across Canada every week on their show Sports Weekly. And so maybe about a month ago, they asked a question about who is the best upcoming Filipino fighter that they should be on the lookout for. And I'm going to play you a clip from the television show. This was about last month. Best Filipino fighter to be on the lookout for. Here was my answer.
So I'm going to go down to a young professional who's just starting her professional career, fighting with Combate Global, which is a local promotion in Mexico. Her name is Schaefer. She's a Filipino fighter, represents the Filipino flag. We got reached out to by her management team. She's represented by Ruby Sports Entertainment, which is a huge agency around mixed martial arts. They said, be on the lookout for this girl. They said, Tim, this is the girl. This is the next big thing. So they've reached out, told us about her. I did some research into her. She's looking good. She's looking like she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. That is my pick. So go find her. I think she's on Instagram as @Taishae, SCHAE. Check her out. Hopefully we will have her on our podcast.
And we do have her on the podcast, Prince, so that we willed that into existence. Ladies and gentlemen, from San Diego, California, please welcome
Taisha Schaefer.
Hi, guys.
Hello,
Oh my
Taisha.
gosh, those old videos of me fighting make me cringe. I'm like, oh my God.
Hey,
I'm glad I've improved since then.
If you've improved, then
like,
flyweights around. Then flyweights around the world got to be worried because you were like beating people up pretty bad in those highlights.
Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like fine emotional.
When I was looking through your videos, I'm like, oh my gosh, this person just like finishing all your fights. You were knocking them out, submitting all of them. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when I was fighting for 10th Planet San Diego under Manolo Hernandez, which he's still my boy. I have a really great relationship with him. He was having me actively fighting, say 2018. So I even have fights in Mexico. So like my amateur record total is 6-2.
Nice, wow. Nice.
One of them, that I lost like my amateur debut. I fought actually heavier because I was a big girl when I started. I was like 160. For other reasons, I was in another relationship, not a very healthy one. And then obviously I got my head out of my ass and I started training. Then, I started losing weight. So I was about like 140, 143, and that was pretty skinny to them. So on my amateur debut, I fought, featherweight?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
And then I dropped 2 weight classes after that. Because obviously that was just not the weight class for me. And then on my second loss, we actually had a rematch. That loss was for Golden Boy, actually.
Yeah, was that when you were? That's when you were stadium. On the. That's when you were on the Tito card, right?
The Tito versus Ortiz, which was a great exposure and opportunity.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I lost that fight, but then we got a rematch, and then I won, and that was actually in my hometown. So that was amazing. A really good emotional fight. I worked really hard for that.
No, that's amazing. Let me ask you a question.
And she was a tough girl. She was actually Filipino too.
How dare you then? How dare you? Prince wouldn't know who to cheer. Prince wouldn't know who to cheer for.
Win.
I'd be in there having a seizure. I'd be like, what am I supposed to do now?
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. Ate Tai, please do it.
Ate.
Taisha, let me ask you a question about that, because you're fighting in your hometown. Obviously, that gives you like a lot of energy because the crowd would be behind you and all that. In today's day and age, in the world that we live in, where there's like a lot of those UFC fights in like dead arenas, or I think it was last week, the Invicta card, which has to be an organization maybe that you'll set your sights on one day. They fought in an empty church. Did you see that?
Invicta did?
Yeah, their last event was literally in a church. Like you could see the stained glass windows and stuff.
Oh,
All the pews were removed, and they put a cage in the church.
wow. I honestly, I didn't know that. I had
Yeah,
no idea. I didn't even hear anyone talking about that. I mean,
yeah. Well, don't worry.
Invicta's kind of an awkward story because I was originally signed with them.
Oh, okay. I did not know this, so that wasn't a setup.
Well, I never fought for them. I was signed with them for a year.
Okay.
And then also I was at a different management team. I ended up leaving to go to Ruby Sports and Entertainment.
Hello, Ruby.
Met
Hello,
Remy.
Remington.
Yeah, that's my boy right there, man. He takes care of me and Tyler. Like, man, the experience that I had in Miami for Combate, like that spoke high volume on him and the
Awesome.
team. And I'm just forever in debt with him.
No, that's awesome.
But yeah, so we ended up getting released from Invicta, and then I signed with Combate just because they're gonna keep me more active. They're gonna have like at least 30 something fights. I believe Invicta's only having 6 fights this year. And you know, I haven't really fought in 2 years since that last fight that you guys posted on the intro with Jasmine Pouncey. That was actually my last amateur fight. I think that was like a year or 2 ago. And then I hadn't fought since. And then Invicta was cool when I was signing with them because we just had to ask like permission for me to fight for other organizations, which they were cool about.
Yep.
So that's how I was able to fight for Combate when still being signed with them.
Yeah.
And that's when we took that 6 days notice, which was insane. We didn't know anything about the girl. We were just like, fuck it, let's fucking do it. I'm fucking good.
and that's what now, on one note, we have heard that Invicta and Shannon Knapp there is really good about that, because we've talked to other girls and they say, yeah, she's great. She'll let you go to other organizations and make money, stuff like that. So that's great. But tell us about that 6-day notice fight. Like, how did that work out? Like, you just get notice and then you just got to fly off to Mexico?
Well, originally, so I fought December 12th. They had asked me probably around like November to be on that card to fight Loba Acosta. So nothing went through. They're like, oh, we already found her an opponent. I was like, all right, cool, no worries. And then once it came down to December, a week before the fight, I guess Loba ended up hurting or breaking her ankle or something. So then that's when they asked me if I wanted to take this short notice fight. And then they told me the name, and me and her are super cool. Rosalind, you know, it's kind of like that woman supporting woman, just only meeting on social media. That's just kind of what it was. And, you know, there was no ill feelings, and I knew she was a tough opponent and a worthy opponent. So I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know her record. I don't see anything on here. It just shows like her amateur record. I think she lost. And then it was her pro debut and she won. And that fight I was able to pull up, and I was like, oh yeah, like, yeah, let's fucking do it. So
Nice.
I had told Remy, like, it was funny because when he asked me, I was like, I think I was at work. We had Muay Thai fights going on, and I'm over here drinking, taking shots. And he asked me, and then I looked at my boyfriend and I was like, well, what do you think? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, all right, well, let's stop drinking.
Yeah.
So Remy was like, well, how much are you weighing? And I'm like, well, I think I'm 140 because I felt like 140. So after those fights, we spoke to my coach. He agreed. He said, let's do it. And then I get back to my house that night and I weighed myself. I was 147. And we had to do a catch weight at 130. And I was like, all right, well, it looks like I'm going to be eating the air and drinking water these next week. You know?
Yeah. So wait, that's 6 days? You had 6 days to drop that?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So the next day, we came home that night, came home pretty late. The next morning, we were all business. Like, I went on a crazy run, did crazy sprints, shadow boxing, and I was able to drop like 3 or 4 pounds just that day. Because I can drop weight pretty quick, pretty good. My body's pretty good about it.
Nice.
And
So I
Ty,
didn't have no worries. But
I
then
seasoned adobo as well.
I had to eliminate the rice with brown rice. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously I had to eat, because like you need to burn metabolism, or you have to get your metabolism burning. So we just did the thing. We flew out Wednesday morning, didn't get there around like Wednesday night, and it was a crazy experience. It kind of had me all over the place. It was really hard to focus on my weight cut because I was limited on time.
Yeah.
And then another incident happened with my blood results. Yeah, they gave me a positive for hepatitis B. It was a false positive. So that made me freak out.
Oh.
Luckily, it was a false positive. They ended up sending me, I think that night, to like a clinic, a doctor, to redo my test results. And then I literally, it was just kind of hard to focus. Like, dude, you're messing with my health. How can I focus on my weight cut? How can I think about fighting? How can I think about weighing in if I might not fight if this result is true? I mean, obviously I felt fine. I had no symptoms, none of that. But, it does kind of scare you a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. That's like Dana White sending you a text saying he's going to sue you as you're walking into the event, right? Like, you heard that
you're just
story?
like freaking out. Like, what the hell?
Like mind games, man.
Yes.
Well,
yeah, definitely mind games like that. That one was tough, but you asked Remy and I cried to him like a baby, but he says like, things like this happen, and he said I handled it really good, which impressed him. I was just trying to really calm myself and just focus on my weight cut and just pretty much just listen to my coach, my boyfriend, and then my manager was just like, dude, you're gonna weigh in and you're gonna fight. Just focus on that. And I did, and thankfully the results came back negative. Everything was fine, and I was able to fight. Which was cool about my opponent because word got around. I don't know how. I thought that was supposed to be like confidential. But even my opponent was like, no, like she took it last minute, like we'll still scrap, Like she didn't even give a fuck. I mean, I don't know about that. I would have been like, no.
Yeah, because
you're positive.
Like,
I cannot fight you. It's positive.
Can I fight you with like a full gown, PPE, gloves, and mask and face shield?
I know. I'm like, yeah, let's just have a whole face shield and we'll just fight.
Yeah. But so Tyschae, they must have loved you in Combate Global because you go there, you take a fight on 6 days notice, which obviously helps the promotion. And now, congratulations, because now you've signed a multi-fight deal with them, which is incredible. So congratulations on that. That sets your career on the path. Yeah. How soon do you think you're going to fight for Combate? And how many times would you like to fight this year? You just said that they've got 30 events, so we could book you for 30 of them.
So I'm pretty sure with my deal, I have about like 5 or 6 fights with them.
Nice.
Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is from me looking at my contract and speaking with Remy.
I heard it's 5. I think
it's
told me it's 5.
5.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But what's cool about with Combate, since they're having so many fights, like it's not an issue if I like turn one down, like there's always going to be one 6 weeks after.
Yeah.
They actually wanted me to fight, I think February 25th, but I'm still healing from my injury that it's not going to be smart for me to go in. And let's say if I, hurt it and make it worse, and then I'm really out. So they asked me, okay, what about March? And I said, yeah, cool. Like that gives me time. But then just the other day I was speaking with Remy. So it's going to be looking like April 29th. I'll be fighting for Combate.
Nice. That's
which
so
gives
awesome.
Me plenty of time for my foot because it's not my toe. It's like the bunion, like the toe knuckle.
All right.
Ty's like, it's the bunion.
It's the bunion. And I've been wearing a bunion corrector.
Okay.
And it's actually been helping, but we we call it Drax, from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the name for my my bunion that me and my coach, came up with.
All right. Now this
It's big.
podcast, this this podcast is not being aired live, but somehow we're getting a lot of feet fetish people texting right now asking for photos of Drax. So
Oh no.
yeah,
They're gonna
so
have to probably
be careful.
They're gonna probably pay money to fix this shit.
Yeah.
They're probably not gonna want to see these.
I don't know.
toes.
There's weirdos out there, Taisha, for sure.
That's so weird. People like
this.
it's like, take my strong foot.
Taisha, you talked about like your weight loss and like starting, and it sounds like you started martial arts later in your life. When
I did. I think I was 23, 24.
Oh, dang.
But I've always had an interest in fighting because my two older brothers used to pursue MMA. My oldest brother, he stopped. And then it was my second oldest brother, which still continued it. But then when my sister passed away, he was, he kind of, was getting in the street fights and, kind of causing trouble outside, kind of rebelling. So that kind of put a hold on his career. And yeah, when my sister passed, that was like a different coping for everyone, Yeah. I was already in my pastime sport, which is BMX. So
get out. Cool.
I was racing BMX since I was 8. I turned pro when I was 17 and I stopped when I was 19. I stopped when I was like in college, like after college. Right. It just wasn't for me. I felt like I accomplished a lot. And I just felt like as I got older, I was like, I want to do what I always wanted to do. Because my dad was kind of like the type, like, it's either BMX or nothing. I think he was afraid for me to fall in love with another sport and this, BMX kind of drift away. Because, I was good. I mean, I've had a couple belts and titles under my name with BMX. And
that's
I
cool.
think it helped translate it in fighting with my takedown defense because of the legs and the hips, having a strong base. So BMX did a body good for MMA.
Nice.
But I believe I started 2016. I was inconsistent. I had my first amateur fight 2017. Still inconsistent. And then I was with my ex at the time, and then that's when we broke up, that's when I was really like on my stuff. So 2018, I like to say, is when I really was starting, because I was like on it and active and just training every single day. So 23 I started 23, 24.
Nice.
And I'll be 29 this year. So
all right, well, congratulations. And no, that's amazing. I mean, that's, because you hear about that a lot, about people, unfortunately, like you hear people are in bad relationships or whatever, and then martial arts kind of gets them out of it, and or that's their outlet as they exit, and that gives them like just a purpose, even if you don't become a professional or an amateur fighter, but it gives them that kind of purpose and that training. And also there's a sense of family, right? When you're in a martial arts institution, that really helps you because it's strong individuals around you. So that's great.
Yeah, of course. They definitely, my coaches, the gym, my teammates, just being surrounded by them in that environment really helped gain like my confidence and my independency back.
Right.
And they just helped me realize a lot of things. And I ended it, finally had the strength to end it. And here I am doing way better than how I was. And I'm very grateful for the people that had my back during that time. Forever grateful for that.
No, that's beautiful. And you're giving back too, because you said, and I apologize. So for people that don't know, we're recording this, Tyschae is her 7 a.m. So thank you so much for waking up for us. But I know that you give back to the community because you teach kids and stuff, right? So you teach kids at your gym?
So the videos that you see, that's actually at my job. I work at the boxing club in downtown. I'm one of the coaches and trainers. We actually have some pretty dope fighters on there too, and that work there that are coaches as well. And or just people who have retired and that are just coaches, trainers now.
Yeah.
But I do help kids just at my actual gym if they are around, you know.
Yep.
But no, I'm not. I did when I was in BMX. You know, I would have clinics.
Okay.
I would train the youngins at the track.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right now the atmosphere that I'm in, I'm not really too much around the kids for me to help.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
if I do kind of get the preteens or teens,
Yeah.
I'm all for it, helping them and getting them better to evolve in this sport. For
No, that's
sure.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, no, and you'd be such an inspiration to them because, like, you know, I mean, just meeting you now, you're a very outgoing, personable person, but you have a good story, right? You've lost the weight, you like all those things that people might, you know, relate to, and then they'd be able to talk to you about that. So that's amazing. I do have to ask you about one of the gyms you're at. I saw this on your post. It's not so much about the gym.
Oh, you're loving the
background.
painting.
The background, if you can see it. So if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, we're showing a picture. She's in a gym, and in the background, it's all these like cool art of like the Street Fighter characters.
The Street Fighters, yes.
That looks pretty
We're
awesome, man.
that is my Muay Thai gym. That's my striking
Okay.
gym. So Coach Zach is my striking coach. I'd say he's my MMA coach too, but I know he likes to stick more on the striking side.
Okay, all right.
But that he actually has jiu-jitsu there and wrestling, you know, but it's mainly a Muay Thai gym. And one of my teammates and one of my longtime friends, Michelle, she's actually an artist. Her kids and husband go there too, and she's actually the one that painted that.
She did those?
Yes, and
those are pretty awesome.
She is so talented and so creative. It's like she actually did a painting of me and my sister who passed away, and like I still have it framed up.
Wow,
so
that's beautiful.
Any cool paintings, you know, shout out to Michelle. But they're obsessed with that Street Fighter, Pokemon cards. Like, I love it. There's such gamers and creativity going on there at the gym.
Well, you can, I don't know if you can see, but in my background, I have a Street Fighter arcade machine.
Oh, you don't want the Street Fighter fade, Timmy.
You don't want that smoke.
What?
You don't want the smoke.
I don't know, man. You grew up in beautiful San Diego. I'm sure you're outside on the beach. I'm growing up in frozen Toronto. All I was doing was in bowling alleys and pool billiard halls playing Street Fighter, man. I don't know.
I'm pretty good. I stay winning. I make my boyfriend cry. We'll go to Coin Op downtown, which is it's a bar, but it has all these old school games. So it has arcade machines like that. Yeah. And his roommates too. I be whipping ass on fighting games. People underestimate me.
Who do you use?
I use Chun-Li all the time.
Oh man, you don't even have. Okay,
I go for the woman, and
I'd be uppercutting the hell out of you. That's like
I probably don't know what I'm doing half the time because I'll be pressing all the buttons.
Yeah,
but then once I get comfortable, I just think of it like an actual fight. I'm like, okay, just wait and I'll counter. Pop up.
All right.
I got it. You know what? What I gotta say though, I gotta pay respects. Your striking and your technique, flawless. Like
Thank you.
Turn the hips. Even your Muay Thai kicks, like when we were showing the reel of your Muay Thai kicks, I swear I'm like, my gosh, did this person train in Bangkok? Like, what's going on over here? Like the kicks, you turn all the way through your hooks, your straights, they're all perfect and they're like immaculate, man. So like, I just gotta say, the striking is amazing. Like
thank you. I really became. I'm telling you, after that loss with my amateur, I really made it my duty to like really focus on my striking, but not just like the physical aspect of it. Once I started training with Zach Shepard, I think I've been training with him for 3 years now. And he really taught me the IQ side of it. And then obviously just crisping me up, fixing like my kicks, my punches. My hooks was from my boxing gym at Azteca. And I just did my homework. You know, I knew I wasn't going to get better just by going to the gym or doing PTs. I'm like, dude, if what's going to make me successful is doing all the basic boring shit. So I did that at home. Jump roping, doing footwork, doing bag drills, like anything you can think of, like I was doing it. And I still do it to this day. And I still teach it on to my clients. I have like a foundation with my clients because of my experience, you know? So it just became an obsession and I just worked really hard at it, dude. So thank you. That means a lot because when I say it came a long way, I literally came a long way. like literally from the ground up. Like I had no experience prior to this, just BMX and maybe like street fights. Like that's it, you know.
Yeah.
I think that helped with me not giving a fuck, getting hit in the face. But
Well,
Nice.
your fights are looking like Taibo videos. It's like turn, perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good. Yeah,
use
good
your
form.
body. Use
You got it. You know what I mean? And like you caught someone with a straight hand, like in one of your fights. Like it was perfectly like placed. It was perfectly timed. It was amazing. So hats off.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Been working really hard, really hard. Just putting in
Taisha,
the overtime for it.
Yeah, Taisha, I want to get to some fan questions, but before I do, you've said so many things that I want to go off on tangents to, but we're gonna run out of time. I do want to say hello to your
I got
boy.
time today. We can even
Yeah,
let's go for an hour.
I got time
today.
I got time today.
I got time.
All right, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. Then I'm gonna keep you a little bit longer.
Go for it.
Okay, so one thing I want to ask, though, you kind of go on it about the gym and about training, right? Did you see this video of actually this girl is very much like you in the sense that she's an MMA fighter, but she's also a BMX racer at 1FC, Alyse Anderson. She trains out of Miami with MMA, I believe MMA Masters. She may have changed, but Alyse Anderson, she's a 1FC atom weight. Okay, so you don't have to fight her. So we're not.
Oh yeah, she's small.
Yeah. So look.
I'm
at
like,
this.
David, I weighed like 105 when I was like, 3 years old.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at this video that she posted. Okay, so she posts this. She's the one on the ground. Okay, and it's a quick video. So see if you can catch this though. She's the one on the ground. This is her training.
Body once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in.
Did you see that?
So Alyse was on the ground, or she was?
She's the one on the ground.
Oh no.
Okay, so if you are, again, for our audio listeners, Taisha, it's a video of Alyse Anderson, former guest of the podcast, friend of the podcast. She's on the ground with headgear on. She's getting up. Her opponent's standing, one hand on the ground, one knee. Like this is illegal in every sense of the word. And the girl just straight out soccer kicks her in the face. I mean,
that was not cool. When I saw that video, I was like, you can't even do that. So
no, like there's no because she is in 1FC where you're allowed knees to a grounded opponent. But yes. I don't think you're allowed to do that. I'm gonna play it one more time, okay?
No, it just depends. Was that like an amateur because they had headgear?
No, this is her training. This is her sparring partner. I don't know who that girl is. She didn't post the name of that girl.
Well, send her my way.
The training partner?
Yeah, that was uncalled for. You're supposed to help your teammate, not her.
Hold on. Know? What? Okay, I'm gonna play it again. This time, pay attention to what the girl does after she kicks her. Like, look at her body language of the girl that kicks her. Okay, watch this.
Body once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in.
She doesn't like touch.
Doesn't help her up.
Doesn't help her up.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
That was not cool. And you know what? I won't get into too detailed with it, but I've had a similar experience.
Yeah.
That one was really bad. That was actually before my Tito versus Ortiz fight 2 weeks out. And I almost had to pull out because they thought I had like a broken orbital. So I didn't have headgear, obviously, but yeah, just from my experience, with the teammate, we're supposed to help each other, give honest work, obviously don't baby it,
yeah.
But we're not supposed to hurt each other at all. That was not cool.
But that's
I
illegal.
hope she apologized to her because that was illegal for one. And for two, if she was getting ready for a fight in camp, you're not supposed to do that.
She is. And we always do a friends of the podcast update, Taisha. So forever, because you're now our friend.
Yes.
Like whenever you have a fight
you with me forever.
Forever. Whenever you have a fight coming up, we'll tell people about it, and we try to get people to watch your fights and stuff like that, right? Like we'll think Alyse Anderson, she does have one coming up. She says that she's starting fight camp. Like you can't be taking blanket shots to the face like that. I mean, good for her.
Did she post that video?
She posts. So here's the thing, Taisha. Let's talk some conspiracy here.
Okay.
She posts it, right? but doesn't tag the girl. I don't, if I'm not mistaken, she doesn't. And then the flood of comments from fans and other professionals that are like, what the fuck is that? Who does that? Like, one that I saw that was funny was Meatball Molly McCann. I believe she's a flyweight. She's your weight class. She was going off saying, who the hell is that? That's brutal, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of wonder, like, is Alyse posting that because A, she's cool about it and she's like, ha ha, I got beat up. I mean, she puts a funny song to it. Or partly conspiracy theory, Tim says she's putting it because she's like, I'm putting this girl on blast, and now like the whole MMA community is gonna be like, who the hell is this chick? And get mad at this girl, because you can't be sparring with people like that, man. That's crazy.
We need to get Alyse on here and figure it out. Because I feel like if you were trying to really put someone on blast, like you would tag them and make a long post, right?
No, but this is why, because now she could go, oh, I wasn't putting you on blast. I was doing it as a funny thing. Now that you're getting all this hate, that's not my problem.
That's a tough one. I wouldn't have posted that unless I was trying to really like out and get the girl and be like, this is not okay. And,
I don't know. No idea who it is. Maybe that will come out now. But as of the time of us recording this, I didn't know who it was. So crazy.
Yeah. You know what? If it was there'd be a post after video of her kicking the person's ass.
Just like,
dude, I would just.
There's like, we're not putting anyone on
legal way.
Yeah.
So at 1FC, if they're on the floor, you can knee them in the face.
Yeah, you can knee to the head of a grounded opponent.
Wow.
So yeah.
Can you stomp their head too, or
no,
is that a different organization?
That's the San Diego streets, I believe. That's what you're thinking of.
The good old curb stomp.
Yeah. No, you can't curb stomp. You can't curb stomp.
1FC.
And I don't think you can soccer kick. Like, you can't do that. Like, you can't just head kick someone when they're grounded.
I didn't know that about 1FC. I thought it was like a different crazy like rule set, but damn, it's pretty gnarly to be on the floor and getting kneed in the face.
Yeah, well, that's how Demetrius Johnson, the legend.
Yes.
That's how he just lost. He was on the ground, he's getting up, and the dude just knees him right in the face and knocks him out.
It's like kind of cool, but scary when it happens to you and not fun, But obviously, if you do it to other people, it's fun.
Yeah, depends on what side of it you're on, I guess.
It's weird. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah. It's a love-hate. I do have a few fan questions that I do want to get to. One, okay, this is the last serious question I'm going to ask you. We'll just burn through this question. But this is from, I liked it. This is from Megalicious. She asked.
Oh, that's my girl.
Okay, do you know her? Okay.
She's actually a really good friend of mine. And she's actually my coworker at the boxing club, but she works at the front desk. And I'm also one of her coaches because she's gotten personal training sessions with me. So I'm literally building her from the ground up.
Cool.
I'm telling you, man, I have a cool foundation.
Nice.
I have a good plan of what I have for my clients. They're going to be badass fighters, whether they want to be it or not. They're going to have
send them
great striking.
The minute, if they've got great personalities and they want to be on a podcast, you send them our way, Tyschae. We will have them on.
I will. I definitely will.
Definitely. Megalicious question is, what's been the hardest part of your journey and how did you overcome it?
Ooh.
Very thought-provoking.
Yeah, that is.
I thought I was going to say waking up for this podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's situation is different at home. And I always tell myself, and I felt like this was a learning lesson when my sister passed, and any type of like anything that I'm like going through, any trial or error, I always try to reset and reframe from that and look at the bigger picture, using my little sister as an example because she is my motivation. She is who I live my life through. So I always try to compare myself to that. And that's what helps me overcome any obstacle, any curveball thrown my way. So when I'm training or if I don't want to get up and I'm like, well, you guys don't know this about my sister, but she passed away from cancer and she was doing
Okay.
a 7-month chemotherapy battle. She didn't pass away from cancer. She passed away from the infection from
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
But my comparison to that with training and overall life, I'm like, this 7-year-old girl taught me
Oh my God.
so many life lessons, and she was going through it, fighting for her life. Why the fuck am I making excuses of dreading training or getting up or doing this and that? So it's just like she's literally my fuel for my aspirations, and she's the one that keeps me going. Any moment I feel weak or whatever, I mean, I'm human, I'll cry, but I just won't let it like consume me or absorb me like it used to. I just
Yeah.
try to use the reassurance of my little sister, that reminder. And that's what keeps me pushing. I think of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Taisha.
And when
Thank
you
you. I appreciate it.
and when you get your hands raised, there's a picture that you have on your hand. Is that her?
That is her, and I carry her
Oh.
picture. So with racing, I had a different picture, but I was able to put it on the back of my number plate on my handlebars. So when I was riding, I can see her right there. Obviously, for fighting, I can just get her name printed. But
Mhm.
every time after my fight, I've always held that up, win or lose. That's the person who keeps me going. She pushes me past beyond my limits. So I represent her to the fullest, and I carry that
Wow.
picture every fight.
That's amazing, Taisha. That's a
So
beautiful
that's
story.
her. That's the picture you see, my baby sister.
That's awesome, Taisha. Thank you for sharing that too. Like that's very personal, and thank you,
Of
Prince.
course.
I have to give huge kudos to Prince for noticing that you were holding up a picture. Like that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Everyone asks too. They're like, "Who is that? Who is that?" And I'm like, "That this is my little sister. This is my hero right
okay.
here."
wow, yeah. It was,
Yeah, that's crazy, Taisha. Maybe perhaps going around this because I know one of the words is family, but at Radio Star asks, what does the tattoo around your neck say, and what's the meaning?
Speaking of family, yeah, even though I got a crazy family and things aren't good right now, I still love them and I'll always ride for them. But so my chess piece, instead of getting like family first, it's pretty much the same, just more deeper and meaningful. So it says, "For my family, I will bleed," and that's what's on my
Oh,
chest.
okay. Cool. All right. Because you've got some cool tattoos, but that's the one that goes like around your neck, right? Like
Yeah, this is
right
the
around
one
the.
around my
Yeah. Okay. All
neck.
right.
It's
Okay.
funny. I always see like a meme, like if your girl has a chest piece, that means she beats up her man or something like that. And I'm like, oh my God. Or like
Yeah.
she fights guys or something like that. Something
Yeah.
crazy. And I was
And you
like, oh
don't.
my God.
Is that meme true though? In your case,
What was that?
is that meme true in your case? Are you beating up your boyfriend? Are you trying?
We have our sparring therapy session. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I'll beat
All
up
right.
my boyfriend.
All right. I do have to ask about that because there is a lot of inappropriate questions. Is that a cat in your background?
Yeah, so I was actually gonna say I gotta let her in. She's in
Oh,
heat right now. So
okay.
she's like super purry, love and
Okay.
affection. And she's
All
like
right.
telling me like, open the door, mom.
Okay. Yeah.
Ty,
You can
Ty,
go. You can go. Let her in. Go. Let her in. I
I'm
mean,
gonna maybe
Yeah.
she can be on here. Let me
Yeah.
see.
Ty,
Show us
I
the
thought it
door.
was your boyfriend,
He's
like
a
your boyfriend who
in
got
some
beaten
cheetah
up.
shorts, just purring. Yep, she's coming in here.
All right.
Don't mind her purring.
Yeah. No, we always love to see people's pets on the
Let's see if she'll come
podcast.
up here.
So
You know, cats, they're kind of like humans. Like, I don't want to be
yeah.
touched unless I want to.
Yeah. They tell you when.
Like, oh, what are you doing here in my space? They're not
Yeah.
very, lovey like dogs.
So so your boyfriend, he is an MMA fighter as well, and
Yes.
he's also named Tyler, which is very funny.
I'm gonna be running into this forever.
Yeah, right? Now, this dude looks like a fighter. Like he looks like he's a Viking or Aquaman. Like this guy is not a guy that you want to mess with. And he's signed to Cage Warriors, right?
Yes, to Cage
Yeah,
Warriors.
that's awesome.
He just signed. We signed our contracts that same day.
That's awesome.
And
Congratulations
he's
to
so
him.
stoked, super pumped about that.
That's
Couldn't
awesome.
be more proud. Well,
That's
things are
awesome.
really like going up from here for us. We've came a long way. So it's pretty
Yeah.
cool to see how far we've come together on this journey, and things are just getting started right now. We're really
Right.
going to be making a lot of noise this year, for
Yeah,
sure.
you bet. Yeah, you better. And do you guys train together?
We do.
Okay.
We train at Premier, which is our striking gym, and that video that you saw with the Street
Yeah,
Fighter,
Street Fighter. Yeah.
paintings. And then crazy story, I'll make it a little quick, but I switched my grappling jiu-jitsu gym to Atos. So now I'll be at Atos where he's training as well, but I did it obviously for my personal growth in this career of mine. I just feel like Atos provides what I need, like the structure and specifics for MMA, because they're already building up an MMA team.
Nice.
Right? They have a program, and it's growing. It's really taking off. And I need that type of training, that type of body work, if I want to be a champion.
Yeah.
And it's no disrespect to my old coaches, my old team. Like, I had a heart-to-heart talk with them, and it's always going to be love. That relationship is not going to change, and I love them, and I'll always have their back. But right now, I got to be selfish and make this business move for my career, and they understand that. They
Yeah.
support it 1,000%.
Yeah. That's perfect. No, that's
This
great.
actually just happened, by the way. So,
Okay.
like, you caught me on a good
Don't
day.
tell anyone. Don't tell
No
anyone.
crying, no emotions,
Now you
no
have
puppy
to,
eyes no more.
No, you have to. After this podcast is over, you got to text us the Instagrams of the gyms so that we can add them to the show notes. So
Okay.
if people want to find these gyms, we'll add them to the show notes. Of course, we always add your information as well. But you're at Tyschae on Instagram, so please follow Tyschae. Get on the train now, because like she said, this.
I would definitely
I'm telling
send
the
you
fans.
their
I'm telling the
links.
fan. Yeah. No, you do that, but I'm telling the fans and the listeners to get on your train now. I'm saying follow you, because like big things are coming, and get on it. That's why we talked about you on Filipino TV. So if you get like a ton of Filipino followers from Canada, that it's because of us, because we we did that, right?
Well, I got some from just Combate. Like, I'm like, oh my God, all these Filipinos following me. And I'm like, I feel so like,
Hey,
I'm like,
Ty,
yes,
listen,
for the culture, my people.
I gotta tell you something. And if you want to save some more money, I know a guy. His name is Tito Atos. He teaches jiu-jitsu up here. He's got one bad eye, but he's not bad. He's got a white belt in diabetes, something like that.
He said he has one eye.
In one eye. Okay.
Yeah, that's
You'll
fine.
save a lot of money
He
because
can't taste, he can't smell, but
yes.
All right, Taisha, the last question I'm going to ask you before we just get to some other random stuff. But the last question I want to ask you is, this was from at MMA Grayson. I like this question. You're a flyweight.
Yes.
Can anybody beat Valentina?
Ooh, that girl's an assassin.
Like what? Like, obviously you could beat her, but can anyone beat her?
She's scary.
Ty, this is where you flex. You gotta flex.
Hold on.
No, I'm always gonna remain humble. It's just my goofy personality. But honestly, I feel like there's so many women that are growing and like progressing in this sport. I think at this point, anyone's beatable. And I think if someone really took the time to study her, and just with her foot movement and like just the way that she moves, because she's so technical, right? And I feel like her IQ is on another level as well. I think if you just really game plan and stick to the game plan, I think she is beatable. Like, I feel like anyone is. You just can't go in there kind of fighting her fight. And I feel like that's what people get caught up in, right? Yeah. Stick to what you do best and just commit to it. And I mean, with her, I feel like, yeah, that is a goal of mine, to be a UFC flyweight champion. So if I have to face her, it's gonna take like a gun or a knife to put me out, because I'll do whatever it takes to get there. And I feel like girls that are that hungrier have a stronger why, a stronger purpose. And I think that's what it really comes down to too. If your reason and your why, your purpose is stronger than your other opponents, you will come out on top. I feel like, especially when you are a champion, you're kind of coasting, you know, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna be chilling, doing whatever, my training, like no one can beat me. And that, I feel like that mentality, you know, you start sleeping on other people who are really hungry for it, that are like starving out here to really like be that, you know. So to answer your question, yeah, I think she is beatable.
Yeah. Thus,
You just
Juliana,
gotta really
like if
game plan
Juliana,
against someone like that, you know, because she does have a background before the MMA, you know, with her Muay Thai. So everyone has a weak window. You just gotta really open up that window and target that, attack it.
Nice. Good.
Everyone is. You just gotta really be smart. I feel like a lot of people try to fight too much with heart and not up here. So.
And this concludes Ty's TED Talk. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Now, Tyschae, okay, you're gonna stick with us for a little bit longer, like maybe like 10 minutes or so. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Let's talk about something that happened last weekend at the Ngannou fight. Did you watch it?
I did.
Okay. So
I didn't bet though, which is good.
Yeah.
Who did you have your money on?
I liked Gon.
Yeah,
and I wanted
so
Moreno to win, which I felt like he did win. That Ngannou fight was kind of, I thought there was going to be a knockout.
Yeah, well, we all hoped it was going to be a knockout.
Yeah.
Like, who would have thought it would get to that? Actually, before we talk about that, let me just put out one quick little reminder to people that if you want to support the podcast, please check out middaysquares.com. Use code FIGHTINSIGHT15 to save 15%. These are like healthy snacks, Tyschae. These are good for your fight camp. They're like chocolate bars. It's chocolate that it's like protein. It's halfway between a protein bar and a chocolate bar, so it like keeps you satiated during the day. It's really good stuff.
Okay.
And I do want to say next week on the podcast, because people always want to know who we have. Next week on the podcast, we have this is a first for us, Tyschae. We've never had someone of this profession, but we have Cutman Brad Tate.
Whoa.
This guy, you know that guy?
He's like,
Cutman? That's the one. So the picture I'm showing of Brad, that's where there's a famous meme where there's a girl that's going up, getting the Vaseline put on her. She turns to her coach and the coach starts slapping her in the face.
Oh, that's him.
And he goes, what? Right?
Oh my God.
So that guy.
Oh my God. You're going to have him next week?
Yeah. So that, yeah. He wanted to come this week.
He seems like a funny dude.
I hope
and
so.
I love reactions. It's so funny.
He wanted to come this week, but we said, no, we've got Tyschae. You move to next week. Right. And also, also booked on the podcast, we have I just want to put this out there. Movie star, our first ever movie star coming on the podcast. Did you ever watch that TV show Wu Assassins on Netflix?
No, I did not.
So there's a TV show called Wu Assassins. Prince is leaving. He's had enough. So there's a TV show called Wu Assassins. There's a movie coming out called Fistful of Vengeance, which is a sequel to that TV show. And we're having one of the stars of it, Juju Chanzito.
Whoa.
She plays Zahn in Wu Assassins. So we've got her coming on the podcast as well. So stay tuned for that. That's all exciting stuff. Yeah, Wu Assassins is on Netflix, and then there's a movie coming out March 17th called Fistful of Vengeance, and it's like the sequel to the TV show. But yeah, all Netflix stuff. And this chick is badass.
Oh my God, I'm gonna watch it. I got time today, like I said.
There you go.
I'm not training till like 11:30, so I'm gonna check that out.
Nice.
That's cool. All right.
Okay, so one thing I want to talk about Ngannou. We got a couple things. All right, Ngannou. What's the deal? He's got all these contract problems, kind of Tyschae, kind of like to what you were speaking about with like the head games playing before. So we heard that, and he posted. I'm just going to put a thing here. This is Francis Ngannou. He's talking. He says he told Helwani, going into the arena, I dressed up, I put my suit on, I walked into the waiting room, and then they said, wow. And I'm like, what's going on? They told me they just received an email from the UFC, said they're going to sue him for talking with this guy. And I'm like, who is that? They're telling me they don't know him pretty much, but he's somebody from Jake Paul's team. And now I'm like, is he a promoter or something? They're like, no. Apparently, the UFC is suing Ngannou and his team now because they've been talking to Jake Paul's team about potentially boxing. The mind games that have gone on with this whole fight, there was all the conspiracy about his contract auto-renewing if he was a champion, stuff like that. We went to our Instagram stories and we said to people, we said, okay, with what went on, what should Ngannou do now? He's the champion. His contract that he's vocally upset with extends automatically for a year. We 31% of people that responded to our poll said he should just sit out the year, not even fight. 31% said just fight like normal, 1 to 2 times a year, and then go box or do whatever. 13% said don't fight, but then the UFC is going to release him and strip him. I don't think that's really going to happen. 25% of people said that they're probably going to strip him of the belt, but then lock him in for the 1 year and just make him do nothing. Tyschae, this is a weird situation. He's in this weird contract he doesn't like. What do you think about this?
I think it just all depends on what he wants. Like, if he's not happy and I don't know how he's doing on money. I don't know why he would want to fight Jake Paul.
Well, he wants to box someone for millions and millions.
I don't know how he's being treated at UFC to even make him want to have these like other options or I wouldn't know. Personally, I would just say just keep fighting. But if you're not happy, then your heart's not really in it. I feel like he's old enough and gone through some crazy shit in his life that I think he knows what's best for him. And whatever that is, I hope he succeeds in.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just, there's a lot of things that people can say outside of fighting, especially if you're a fan. But you just never know what people are going through at home, like, out the cage. So just depending on that, I just hope that he just does what makes him happy and blocks out all the other noise and just kind of listens to his intuition, and do what's best for Francis Ngannou, not for other people, Like, if he's not happy with UFC and with Dana and like all the drama that's been going on, is it worth like his mental peace, So I'm just hoping he does what's best for him and for his career.
Yeah. So you're saying, so you're saying, as a fighter who's in that scene right now, you're saying, hey, look, if your mental status is not in it and you're not fully in this and ready, and you're at heavyweight, like there's a lot of danger coming at you in these fights. You're saying if your mental status isn't there, just maybe sit it out, right?
Yeah, because you don't want to make impulsive decisions because you're being emotional. And then, obviously he has a big name and people are always watching him and saying shit about his every move. People don't really take a step back and think about all that. He's under a tough spotlight. Like, dude, UFC heavyweight champ, like he has to watch what he says, how he moves, you know what I mean? And maybe it'd just be good for him to kind of just to decompress for a little bit, and maybe he just needs a little break to figure that out. And honestly, that's okay. All kudos to him if he does, because what he does and having these interviews and just like I said, being under the spotlight, it can be overwhelming. So I hope he maybe just takes a little break just to kind of decompress and figure out stuff, or, that's just going to be something he's going to have to weigh out and really figure out what he wants to do.
Yeah. And then I'm going to ask you one other thing about the Ngannou fight. This is the last thing we'll talk about quickly, but did you notice this? I'm going to play a video here.
And still the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion of the world.
What was funny there? Your face looks like, what are you showing me? It wasn't Dana White putting the belt on him.
Yeah.
Dana White left the arena, didn't even do a post-event press conference, and didn't put the belt. Yeah, did not put the belt on him. Well, you notice because the guy's got hair, and you're like, who the hell's that? Then they do ask him later. They're like, did you notice that Dana didn't put the belt on you? He's like, I don't know. And Ngannou's such a nice guy. Like, he's just like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. It wasn't me. I didn't tell him not to put the belt on me. So that's kind of weird, Like, again, we went.
Did anyone else like mention that?
Oh
And
yeah,
then
people.
did Dana
Yeah,
respond?
he hasn't responded yet. We're recording this on Wednesday. Apparently, he is doing some sort of press conference, and maybe he'll break his silence. We did ask people, like, what do you think about that? Like, what's the deal on something like that? And we went to our Instagram to ask people, and a lot of people said he should have put the belt on him. It's goddamn tradition. Like, Dana White is supposed to put the belt on you. He was there. It's not like he was out with COVID or something. So what do you think about that, Tyschae? You win the belt, and the president kind of makes a public statement by not putting the belt on you. I mean, that's how it has to look. He put the belt on Figueiredo.
That's fucked up. That's personal. I don't know.
Yeah, right? Not cool, right?
I
Obviously,
think
I
this
want
is
you to...
why he's having these mixed emotions. I
Yeah.
mean, damn, I didn't even notice that. I'm like so shocked right now from that video.
Yeah.
Maybe
Imagine
that-
how Ngannou was, because how would you even know who's putting the belt on you, right? Because you're standing like this, you're
Yeah,
looking
because you
there.
just finished fighting and you're like,
The belt just
you
gets
know.
put around you from behind. It's not like you turn around and see it. So like he might not have even known until someone says like, "Hey, dude, Dana didn't even put the belt on you." Like you'd be like, "What the hell, man?" Like, I don't know. That's tough.
Dana better have a good excuse.
We
If I
will
was him, I'd be
see.
like, dang, I gotta go use the bathroom. I
That's
don't
it.
know.
Maybe he had to go to the washroom. Maybe his bladder was full. He had a lot to drink. And hey, dude, can you just put this on quickly while I run to the?
Yeah, it
I'm
was.
hoping, because that's messed up, and it doesn't look good just because you've been seeing all the drama on social media platforms, and with him and Dana, and the fact that he didn't do that kind of added more fuel to the fire.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, so it was like 90. I'm just checking now. It was like 90% said, yeah, it's tradition. Do it. I think like 5% said, get over it. Stop being so sentimental. And 5% said, I could care less. But I feel like that 10% of people maybe like, they're just goofing on my poll. But I feel like the 90% saying, yeah, it's tradition. Like he's got to put this on. Like there's no reason.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I didn't even notice that. That is crazy.
Yeah, it's
that
tough.
doesn't look good on him at all.
Yeah, and the way the camera, I swear, like I'm a huge conspiracy theorist when it comes to this whole Ngannou situation. Like we've talked about on our podcast, but even the camera doesn't really show who that is. Like even the camera was kind of almost looked like it was smart, like it was kind of hiding who it was, the angle it was taken at. So I don't know. Could be
They
all
just blurred him in the back.
Yeah. Start putting little emojis over the guy's head.
You and your
can't see.
conspiracies, I swear. You and my boyfriend will be talking for like 3 hours.
Yeah,
he's so into that stuff, and I'm just like, I'll get into it. But
when he's got a fight coming, tell him to message us and let's have him on the podcast. When's his fight?
March 4th, Cage Warriors in Del Mar. It's like an hour.
Is he a good guy? Like he's fun to talk to? He's
not boring yeah, he'll talk your ear off.
All right.
Yes.
We know he's good looking enough for the podcast. We know that.
Right? But can he talk?
yeah. Is he just a pretty face? Taisha?
Can he read?
All right. We're coming down to the end of the podcast. I do want to give a quick shout out to our friends of the podcast and just say what's happening. Fair Play. He's a Street Beefs fighter. Do you watch Street Beefs?
I do.
Okay, so we had Fair Play on. He's the guy with the suspenders. You know that guy? He's like the main guy. He always fights in suspenders and a dress shirt. Anyways.
Oh, yeah. He's not that bad. He got a little grittiness.
No. He is good. He has his first ever professional fight January 29th. So go watch that. We told our fans, I think he's going to live stream it off his Instagram. So watch that. His first pro MMA fight. Gita Marie. She's fighting February 5th. Don't forget to tune into that. Connor Tierney. He's a bare knuckle fighter that we had on from England. He has announced that he is fighting for BKFC March 12th in New York City. Denise Zambawanga, #1 atomweight for 1FC. She was on our podcast, our most watched podcast ever. Maybe before this one, though, Tyschae. She is set up to fight a rematch against Sohee Ham on March 26th for 1FC. And Jenilyn Olsen, Filipino fighter, Tyschae, fights at a Team Lakay in the Philippines. Jenilyn Olsen is matched up with Shadowcat Jin Radzuan February 11th for 1FC. So that's all of our friends of the podcast have tons of fights coming up. We will keep you informed as to what happens and how those go. But Taisha,
I will definitely watch and support, especially the Street Beefs one.
Yeah, you got to watch that dude, man. Fair Play is amazing. He was such a nice dude. You know that guy? He's a cop Like he's a police officer. The guy, like, that's crazy. Yeah, such a nice guy though. Like such a gentleman. Really nice. Yeah, there you go. We're showing a photo of him on the
He's
screen.
nice with it. I've
Yeah,
seen him pop up on YouTube, so I'll like
yeah,
watch
yeah.
random videos.
Yeah. Those Street Beef fights are awesome. All right, guys, we are down to the end of the podcast. Taisha, I can't believe you stayed with us the whole thing. I'm so glad you did, though. You're a great person. We're so happy to have
Thank
met you. Like, this has been a long time coming. Like I said, we talked about you on Filipino TV like back in early December. So we're really happy to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
And sorry for the cussing.
No, that makes it way better. Don't worry. We will, before we let you go, is there anybody that you want to shout out? Anyone you want to say thanks to? Anything like that?
Just shout out to my manager team and my coaches and just like my teammates, just for keeping my head on the right path and just being in my corner and just always rooting for me. They're always looking out for me. So I appreciate you guys. And big ups to my boyfriend too for being there for me during this crazy time. I've been going through a lot this past week. So he's been really, really having me on the right path as well. So yeah, shout out to him for dealing with all of this.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It's got to be difficult.
And shout out, yes, to my family as well, and to you guys for having me on here and making it fun, and I can truly be myself. I don't have to be some robot and try to think of like proper words to say and all that. So you guys definitely made it welcoming and comforting. And oh my God, I love you guys.
All right.
It's so funny. You guys crack me up.
Ty, I actually just wanted to let you know, I was just looking through the Facebook, and it looks like we're cousins. We're cousins. According to here, your Tito Bachincho is my Tito Bachincho. We'll figure it out. We'll talk about
it out.
Off air.
And if we're related in some way.
Related. No, yeah, it says right here. Excellent.
All right.
You're my
hey,
cousin.
Yeah, this is a family match. It's like a DNA and me kind of thing.
Yep.
Guys, thank you so much for watching the podcast. Again, check out our sponsors. We also want to give thanks to Noon Hydration. These are those tablets, Taisha, that you throw in your water. Yeah, these are awesome, man. So thank you to Noon. Check out, I think we'll put some stuff in our show notes, but I think they have a sale going on, 25% off.
I actually have some.
Wait,
look.
You have that same stuff?
Where is the camera?
Wow.
I can't move the camera.
All right, here you go. Move your
hand.
Nice. There you go. What are the odds of that? That was not planned.
This is like our best friend when after weight cuts and stuff, or even just in a tense camp. Yeah, shout out.
Nice.
I got my own.
All right, now they definitely have to pay us. All right, guys, thank you for watching. If you're here because of Taisha, obviously she's amazing. Please subscribe to us, follow us on Instagram, everywhere. Taisha, it was a pleasure to meet you. We will have you back on the podcast for sure.
Likewise.
Good luck with all of your fights. Tell your Aquaman boyfriend that we're going to be hitting him up. And Prince, see you later, my friend.
We tell him that all the time. Or Thor.
Thor. Yeah, okay.
I will definitely tell him.
All right,
Thank you guys so much for having me on. It was nice meeting you.
Awesome. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.